In this video, I am bringing an old character from Blender 3.2 to 4.2. I will be going over how I finalized Ash the Timber Wolf and completed his render in Evee. This still render is my favorite, but this scene corrupted and I lost that version. It's really easy to overwork the fur grooming. This rendered video is my final version of him. I don't know why this won't render out in cycles in the Blender 4.2, but oh well, I wanted to explore the latest version of Evee and see what it can do with fur. This is the old file from 3.2 loaded into Blender 4.2. I am locking the camera to render view. I want to see what the render looks like in Evee. So far this scene is much easier to handle in 4.2. But I am sure by the time I am finished I will likely make this scene explode as usual. I have loaded up the new scene to show you the changes I have made. I have extruded out some eyelashes and reused the devil's eyelash texture. The great thing about extruding eyelashes from a paint-weighted character, the new geometry retains all the previous paint weights. This is his eyeball material settings. And this is the surface setting for the material for his head and body. Particle settings are here. For detailed on how to create for particle, watch my Ash Wolf series. Link will be at end of video. Subscribe to have an easy access to all my content. Here is my render settings. I don't think 1024 made much of difference, but 512 from 256 was a noticeable increase in quality of lighting picked up in the fur. So the big thing that gives his fur the pop wow factor was inverting his roughness map and applying the gamma node. Also some minor changes to the specular map using Photo P. Nodes can be added by going under Add menu under the shading workscreen. Here is the HDRI map nodes. I like to rotate this map to get variations on lighting or backdrop. All the color changes to this scene is done with these nodes. Now, here is the lighting. I only use 2 lights. Sun is my key and 1 point light for rim. The HDRI is my fill. Depth of field is great at giving the image a SLR camera look. You can select with the eyedropper on the focal point or just type in an asset to have the camera always locked onto it. That way everything around it will be blurred out based on the f-stop distance. The smaller the f-stop, the shorter the distance before it starts to blur. So here you can see his hind leg fur is blurring out. If the distance is even shorter, things in front of the selected focal point will also blur as well as behind. In plain shaded mode, this is what Ash's fur looks like. In particles, this is what his groom looks like. Also remember to turn on optics and your video card. This will help with the in-screen speed. I really don't know why this old file won't render in cycles in the new version. Wow, how majestic, his mange is out of control. To render, hit F12 and it will render what the render view cameras is selected. To render animation, hit Ctrl plus F12. I selected Evee for the render. I have selected his eyeball mesh as the focal point and setting was at 1.5 m, so his body fur will be out of focus. But you see also, his nose is starting to be out of focus a little bit, so selecting his head mesh would work better for this camera shot. Here's what he looked like with inversion and gamma nodes. But I needed to alter his specular maps so his legs are not so shiny. Also, in his color map, I made his legs not so dark and more even-toned. His fur would have been easier to groom if I had divided up his body parts and types of fur in different vertex groups. Here, I am polishing off his fur so he isn't so flat looking. I'm going for a windy day. I would like to have leaves fall down around him and to see his glorious fur blowing in the wind. But reality check. This scene can barely be animated and the rig breaks with the fur shader on. Maybe in future Blender updates. I am flipping the ends of the fur up to catch the light more and to create a more stylized look. This is a render of shinier version of Ash. Which one do you like the most? I am thinking of making a bust of a tiger or Arctic wolf. What do you think I could make next? Let me know in the comments. See you in the next one.